Welcome, gamblers. Today we're talking Ethereum and the bet that I've recently made in my gambling portfolio. So, what is Ethereum? You probably know it's a cryptocurrency. It's the second most popular cryptocurrency next to Bitcoin, right? We know that Bitcoin is the big dog. Well, Ethereum is a global decentralized network on the internet that runs on thousands of computers working together instead of being owned by a single bank or company. It uses its own digital currency, ETH, as the fuel to power the network and run apps. Because it operates 24/7 without a central authority, Ethereum allows anyone in the world to instantly send money, build secure digital apps, and trade directly with each other with full transparency and lower costs. So that is the whole point, right? Is to be able to transact faster, cheaper, and quicker. And more secure, right? Obviously, when we're making transactions, we don't want any fraud, and that sort of thing. So let's talk a little bit more on who's been building on this. BlackRock and JP Morgan are just some of the firms that have been building on top of Ethereum. Obviously, these are major corporations, so that is a super good sign if you're an Ethereum holder. As I took out this bet, it was pretty much thinking that crypto's gone down pretty far. All of the crypto coins have gone down pretty far. And maybe it'll bounce back. But in doing a little research, I realized that there's a little bit more to this Ethereum than just a speculative cryptocurrency. It looks like it's actually has some use case. So I'm going to do some more researching. I don't know if I'll ever put it in my gambling or my investing portfolio, but you never know. So let's talk about Bitmine Immersion. This is an Ethereum treasury company. Its main goal is to buy and hold Ethereum. Now, if you didn't know, you can stake Ethereum, which basically means you let the network hold your Ethereum tokens in exchange for a yield, usually about 2%. They keep them on the network to help secure and use transactions on the network. So right here we can see one of their recent releases. They've got about $11.5 billion in Ethereum as well as a few other tokens. They hold a little bit of Bitcoin and then some cash. The market cap on Bitmine Immersion is about a billion under this, a little bit more than a billion under. So compared to what they have, it might be, you could say it'd be trading at about $1 billion discount. So when they're staking these coins, since they have so many, they will be getting money off of it. I think they estimated about, here we go, annualized staking revenues are projected about 247 million. So it looks like they will be making over 200 million in the next year for their staked Ethereum. So on Thursday, Tom Lee, who's the chairman of the board, released this video. Ethereum is the cure for the uncanny valley of wealth. So if you don't know anything about Tom Lee, he is a frequent contributor on CNBC. They're always asking for his opinion. He's been very correct when it comes to the markets over the past couple of years. And, over the past, I'd say 4, 5, 6 months, he's been out there pushing Ethereum and Bitmine Immersion. Obviously, he's part of the company as being chairman of the board. So the one thing I really like about Tom Lee is that, he's very calm. He comes across very cool and collected. And, his background is as a research analyst. And you can tell, he has done his research. He just comes across very well. So another thing that I'd like to talk about is his company that he started, is Fundstrat Capital, right? Here is their Granny Shot holding. So it's a Granny Shot ETF. So it's a collection of stocks that he holds and he thinks that are just basically layups, right? And you can see exactly what is in here. And I love that. So you can talk all day long about the stock, but show me what you've done with your money. It speaks a lot more than, you just saying that a stock's going to go up. As looking through this, you can see 4 of the companies that I own are in this Granny Shots: Amazon, Palantir, Meta, and JP Morgan. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyways, back to Tom Lee and his Bitmine Immersion release letter. So basically, he's making a case for Ethereum and why it's going to go up in this. And let me tell you guys, this guy is a heck of a salesman. If I had watched this video before I took out the call option that I did, I probably would have at least doubled, if not tripled down. So right here, he's talking about Robinhood and Robinhood's change and using the Ethereum network, and he basically makes a case, and the way they're using it, it makes Ethereum money. Seems a little soon for that. I feel like if it's money, I should be able to walk into a grocery store and use my Ethereum to buy groceries. And I know we're definitely not there yet, even though it does seem to be adopted by Wall Street pretty highly. So, yeah, just something to think about. All right, let's talk about the call option I put on BitMine Immersion in my gambling portfolio. So, I took this out on Friday, and I took this screenshot about an hour or two before the market closed. So let's see, my cost basis was a little bit under $200, and now it's a value of about $234. So up, doing good. Who knows what the future holds? Tomorrow the market could open, this thing could go crashing down. I could lose 20% in a day. When you're using leverage such as call options, you got to be very, very careful. But I don't ever risk anything I'm not willing to lose. So it is my gambling portfolio. All right, guys, that's all I have in this one. If you guys want to see every move that I make,